Peace and love, healers, beautiful people, humans, however you identify. Welcome back to another episode of the Healers Collective. Today, we are talking about why your clients are not booking and how to fix it. Right? So, to my opinion, I think the reason why your clients and potential clients are not, booking and rebooking is they don't feel connected to you. They don't feel like they see you and hear you, right? Or they don't feel seen and heard. Both of those situations can be fixed with increasing your visibility, increasing your likability, and increasing your trust factor. There's many ways to do all three of those things, to be known, like, and trusted. And I think one of the biggest ways is to practice what you preach. And better yet, to preach what you practice. So people want to see somebody that they can resonate with, that they feel like, oh, they get me because they're doing this thing. And maybe you've had a client and you've told them you need to walk barefoot more to increase your connection with the ground, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then they see you on Instagram or wherever, and you're never barefoot. Like, they never see your bare feet. You're always in high heels or super cushioned and padded shoes, or just like, and what you're saying is like, be barefoot because the heel lift of these shoes are not good for you, and they don't see you doing it. There's a disconnect. And then when they see somebody else who is preaching what they practice, they're like, oh yeah, no, like they do this. Either they practice what they preach or preach what they practice, either way. But they see that and they're like, oh yes, I'm going to resonate with that person more because they're actually doing what they told me to do. Like what they suggested, they're actually practicing what they preach. Or they're sharing the insights of their life to help me help improve my movement, help improve my recovery, et cetera, et cetera. So if that disconnect is not there, they may lose trust with you. I know I've gained clients and I've gained followers who've turned into clients because they love what I practice, whether or not I preach it or not, or at least they love what they see casually. So they see my family, they see me being barefoot, they see me moving my body. And I know for a lot of my clients, back when I was like intensely working and booking body workers, it was so much easier to gain clients because I would post me doing animal flow. I would post me doing any type of workout, jumping, stretching on my own. And they would see that and I'm like, oh yeah, like this is clearly he's practicing what preaching being the body work sessions that I'm doing, but he's practicing it. So if he's telling me to do this type of exercise to gain more flexibility, I can see that he's doing it on his own. Maybe I can even go to his class, but he's learning, he's growing, he's reading. That's the person I want to work with, learn from. And I remember when I had a client who he was going to somebody. I was in a shared space, and he was going to another client, another therapist, and he was walking past me, and I was in my book. I was in a textbook reading and studying, just learning more about the body in my downtime in between clients. And later he told me, he was like, yo, like, I remember walking past you and seeing you were actively reading and learning. And I'm like, wow, that's what you're doing in between your clients. You're just continuously to learn about the body. And my person is okay, but I don't feel like there's a deeper level of growth to understand more. It's more of like what I have is what I have. And we all kind of we can get into these spaces of monotony of just like, okay, same day in, same day out. Like how's the day going? And you look up and it's been 3 months and nothing has really been different. We all can fall into that kind of rut, that systematic, just like opening, I call it opening the blinds, closing the blinds. Like you're just letting light in and closing it down. But we have to in that time choose to wake up and realize like, hey, we need like I need to change something. I need to learn something new. Like the only way for growth, I need to grow. In order, like change is inevitable. So why not be in control somewhat of the change? Why not choose how I want to grow, how I want to evolve? And and there's again simple cases of where my clientele has grown, people have booked me, and I've gotten literally more money, more bookings, and then retain more clients because they've seen me doing something that they may not have seen their other practitioner, or this it build more trust to see like, oh wow, you're actually doing the thing that I would like to see that my therapist to do. Like I would like to see my pastor, right? If in the space of that, I don't really have one right now, but in that space of going to a church, I would love to see my pastor in their downtime, like reading the Bible and taking notes. Like, okay, well, yeah, you like this is not just Sunday for you. This is every day. Um, versus even just not see my pastor do it, but if see my pastor do something else, like that's like at the club or something like, oh, okay, pastor. And maybe some other people would like that. Maybe that builds their trust with them, right? So like, there's just different things. But the more you can start to show and connect with your followers, with your wherever your potential clients can see you. And I think so many people are spending time online now. So if you can put more things out, you can make more posts, more stories, or et cetera, to let them into your life as much as you want. You don't have to you don't have to invite them to your bed. You don't have to like as soon as you wake up, like, hey everybody, I'm just getting up, about to brush my teeth. So coach said I need to invite you guys into my life, so I'm gonna let you guys see everything. You don't need to do that. But what are the things that potentially that your clients would value? And for me, and just what are the things that like the human would value? Like how could you nourish them beyond when they're on the table? Like if I could post something about, hey, be more barefoot because you can understand the connection between the ground and yourself and the ground, and then the ground of your feet, which then is the mediator between your feet and your body. So your feet are the mediator between your body and the ground. So the better connection you have with your feet, the better relationship you have with your feet to the ground, you can start to build that bridge. That's the bridge. Your feet are the bridge between the ground and your body, and really your spine, which kind of like starts to affect everything else anyway. So if I talk about that, and then I'm booking clients for sessions for shoulder pain, back pain, whatever type of body pain, whether it be feet or not, then it's like, oh wow, no, he's actually like diving deep into this extra thing, and I could learn more from this. You know what? I do need to go back because I trust that this is a well-knowledged therapist, and I would love to learn more as well as trust him to work on my body because this therapist is giving more insight, giving more ammo than I'm paying for, right? Because then people, and this is also like why people spend money. People like, would you, the average person, if I gave you $100 bill, would you give me $150? No, right? But if I gave you $150, would you give me $100 bill? Yeah. Why? Because the value that I gave you is greater than the value that you gave me. So people will spend money when they feel like that what they're receiving is more valuable than what they're giving. People will spend money and invest in something and share their money and exchange it when they feel like the value that they're receiving is greater than the price that they're paying. So if you start to develop yourself and showcase yourself that you are more valuable than a massage, than a rub down, than a stretch, then they'll pay more money than the average rub down, stretch, massage costs. So if you can build your value via your body intelligence, via the workouts that you do, via the knowledge that you have in body, the wisdom that you have, You can showcase that through you hosting a book club. You know what I mean? Like that may be important for a therapist. Like, oh wow, you've read this collection of books. Yeah, like that could be more valuable to your potential client who wants to maybe get a session and have a conversation about this collection of books. Like, wow, you've read all of this author's work. Yeah, I would love to talk about that while you're fixing my knee or while you're addressing my just body pain. That's a big thing that I don't feel like is being communicated and talked about enough, specifically in the healing space. Like that is that's the groundwork for how we spend money. If I'm not like certain things. I'm like when we say it's not worth our money, it's like I don't see the value in that. Like for me, expensive food, I don't see the value in spending astronomical amounts of money for a meal. To me, the meal, once I eat it, it's gone. Like I eat it, it does what it needs to do in my body. But I don't think the astronomical amounts of money is going to actually make the food process better and make me stronger and wiser and more fluent in my body. Like I could go to the produce section anywhere. You know, if I could go to a nice store, a nice place, or even just go to a nice area and like pick fresh produce, that's richer for my body than a restaurant with a Michelin star. For me, for my value. So me spending $100 a plate on, for food is like, what other value am I getting here? The experience of being on a Michelin star, I don't find that valuable. But for some people, like tasting this wine that's been bottled in some country and aged for this amount of time, there's value in that. And they're like, yes, please take my money for this value. So building the value and packaging the value is how booking comes, but that also comes with you. Like you are the value. The more you can build your own value via your experiences, via your other wisdom, via other worlds and life spaces that you could bring in, like my knowledge as a coach, right? My knowledge with social media, my knowledge with cameras, my knowledge with AI, my knowledge with humans, my knowledge with like all the books that I've written and just the speaking and the showing up that I have and then my knowledge with body work and how I could I literally have trainings and stuff coming up of teaching people how to be a stretch therapist, teaching people biomechanics, teaching people just the body and raising their body intelligence. All of that makes the value of my coaching so much more. Where it's like, I'll pay you this price because I'm getting all of this. If you find being an evolved human, being an empowered healer, being tapped in and understand how to build your online presence, how to obsess over your clients, how to use AI to leverage and just make time easier. If you find those things valuable, then my price is like, oh, that's a low price. Yeah, of course I'll pay that. Because then maybe if you had to do all those things separately, it could feel overwhelming. Like and it will actually be more costly to learn AI on your own, to learn body work on your own, to learn how to ground yourself and build a solid root system, to then get into your fruit system, to then, right, like even almost like reading all the books where I could probably summarize them and all those things and just learning the insight of like which programs, which certifications to learn and take and how to just increase and improve my body and my living. That's worth way more than the price that I'm asking for in exchange for. So the more that you could do that, you can position yourself like I do this, all these things. You're in this session, you're getting me, and then me, or you're getting this version of me at least, however much you want to extend, but that's what they're getting. But again, all of this also ties back to the client and like them feeling like, oh wow, there's more value here. And then also everybody's not your person. So you may share that you love poetry or you love cooking, whatever, something. I don't know, cars. It could be like you have a taste for like high end cars or Jeeps or motorcycles, something that may pique the interest of somebody or some bodies. They're like, yes, like I love to go. We just talk about cars all the time. We can talk about cooking all the time. We can talk about parenting. Some people value that I'm a parent and value that and like, yes, I want to work with you because you're a dad. And it's like, great, cool. Because they want to feel seen that they're also a parent. So how can we do that more? How can we build that connection and also again preach what we're already practicing? So and preach what you practice means share the life that you're living. And if you want to switch it, practice what you preach. Like don't just share information that you are not living, that you're not embodying. So that could lead to a mistrust. That could lead to, well, you're saying this, but you don't do that. Well, I don't. This not adding up. When you understand, if and when you understand that the bodywork session that you're offering and you are doing is a bigger exchange of not only your it's not only an exchange of the body work, but it's an exchange of life and time and energy. And your whole existence has a lot of time and energy wrapped into it and life wrapped into it, and you're exchanging that. Like there's rarely times when I'm doing a session and you're only gaining this session. You're only gaining the body work of it. There's definitely gonna be way more time. Like 95% of the time, there's gonna be a deep conversation. There's gonna be a level of coaching, which I didn't know I was doing at the time. There's gonna be a level of like, oh, let me share my life. Let me share my journey. Let's just laugh. Let's just have a good time. Or let's dive deeper into what's going on in your world. So let's unearth that. Let's let that release out of the body. So some tears may come up, some emotions may happen, but that's more than what's on the thing when you click like to book. When you click the book, it's like, hey, we're gonna adjust the fascia in your body, we're gonna stretch it out, we're gonna do some deep body work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like really you're getting me and everything that I have wrapped up in me. So selling yourself is showing all the parts of you so they understand that like, oh, I'm getting this is the person that I'm getting for this price, and that's actually way more valuable than this. That's because if you were to look at your ideal therapist, your body worker, your coach, would you want the person who only knows the body versus the person who knows the body plus has a similar experience that you are living or desire to live in? More than likely, you're going to go with the person who has the body work experience plus a desired lifestyle that you want to live, desired wisdom that you want to then embody at some point in time in your life. That's the when we get there, that's the real big win. When if you understand that, then it's like, okay, cool. How can I be that person that people want to choose? Maybe the catch is you already are. You need to share that more. You need to share the things that are authentic to you, not sharing things for the booking. Share things that like, yeah, let me share a piece of my life that makes you in whatever capacity that you desire. And there is I wonder if I have it in my notes. I'm gonna start writing in this book. Let's just start writing this one. There is a piece of information that I have when creating content, and I think it might even be in that other workshop that I just did. There's three things when there's a couple things when you want to. There's five. I think there's five F's when you want to share more of you, right? As you're making content, you're doing whatever you're doing. You can share. Yes, I think there's five F's. There you can contribute into your fashion. So fashion, faith, food, fitness, and family. You can choose one of the five. You can choose more than one of the five or all five. But that's going to kind of give an essence of you that people can connect to. Faith, right? So like if I share more about my faith and my Rasta lifestyle and believing in Mother Earth and Father Sky, and when I am a co-creator along with Mother Earth and Father Sky to navigate this experience of life here. Like that's faith. That's a belief based off in what I have faith in. Somebody else will be like, oh, I like what Jordan believes in. I'm gonna resonate more with him. I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna book with him. I'm gonna et cetera, et cetera. Fitness, right? Like, oh, I like the type of style of workouts and fitness that he does, or the body that he has, et cetera, et cetera. Fashion. I love this orange hat that he's always wearing. So you could start to piece these things in. Food, if I'm always drinking a certain drink, I'm always eating a certain food, I'm always talking about something, right? Like, man, I just love tacos, like tacos, whatever. Like, if you resonate with tacos, you're gonna be like, yeah, like I get down with Jordan. Like, he's a taco guy. I'm a taco man. And what was the other one? Family, right? So if I always share that I'm a parent, I'm a dad, and my two boys, you may be a boy parent, you may be a new parent because I'm in a new space. Those things start to then connect and like build more. Then again, start to build this package even better. But it's what it's doing in simple form is building a connection, is building a bridge between you and said person, said potential client. The more bridges you could build, so if you build all five bridges, more than likely that becomes one big crossing path. And it's like, okay, cool. They could cross over either multiple bridges or one big path of like, okay, more people can now pull in. But if there's no bridge, if the only bridge is a business transaction of like my body hurts, you're the one to fix it, then you're not thinking about that person any further than that. So for me, when in the space of branching out and expanding your brand, when you want to do a retreat, when you want to do some type of mastermind workshop, when you want to sell a book, when you want to do something else, it'll be harder to do if there's not a real connection, there's not a real bridge on something. Like I know, like travel for me, with my family is a part of my lifestyle that some people are like, so how do you, I want to do that. Like I want to be able to take my family and travel all over the world and still run a business. Teach me how to do that. Or I just love seeing it for your family. And that is why I am working with you. That's why I want to be connected to you in some degree. Does all that make sense? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Beautiful. Thank you. So yeah, how can we, again, it's simple, build a better connection. And then in building that connection, you're going to showcase that through another part of you, right? The bigger packaging of you through the 5Fs: family, fitness, faith, fashion, food. And then we want to add a sixth one in: freedom. Like how do you express your freedom? So everybody wants to be free to a degree. But yeah, so adding that to it. But the people that are gonna book you, that is what that's going to help them feel seen and heard. They're going to book you because they see themselves in you. And if you are only showcasing yourself as the medical professional, and then they are not a medical professional, then they just see a distant thing. They don't see the human. They don't see the human in you. So you have to be more human, which always comes back to human. You have to be more human to be more booked, to build that connection. They want to know like what part of like how human are you, and now where can I connect with this human? But yeah. Any questions on any of that?
No, I think you're doing a great job of explaining everything. Also, I have to hop off at 8:40, 8:45.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Any questions on anything in general? Like so what if I have a client doing it? Just whatever. Any question in general. This is the time and space that I hold and I want to continue to hold for like a live coaching call. Obviously, that have a framework that I want to share. But if you have a question totally off of this, shoot it. And then we can hash it out. We can build from there. No questions? You guys good?
Yeah, good on my end.
Okay. And Jasmine, you good?
Yes, good morning or afternoon. I think I'm good. I know I hopped in a little late here, but nothing that's immediately coming to mind right now.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I will share a piece of information like I normally do for my notes. You guys know I had my Earth Strong, as I like to call it, pass on this past Monday, the 17th. And naturally is a level of evolution, just like sit back and kind of what has evolved in my life, what is reflection, pretty much. And part of it is like the wisdom that I already have, like looking back at the things that I already know and pulling and summoning that back to the present. Like, ooh, I remember I learned that some time ago. How could I bring that more present? And a lot of my tattoos that I have are very wisdom based. It's like there's deeper messages to them. It's not like, yeah, I like cats, so I got a cat right here. It's like there's some wisdom in it, and where they become they are timeless, and that is the goal. Not like oh yeah, I remember I was going through this phase at that time. It's like this timeless lessons. But in this time, I was listening to another podcast, and I was downloading more, and I realized real change happens when the stakes need to be higher. So the opening quote, right? Evolution will take place when the revolution is in your face. What does that mean? So you will evolve, you will change, you will become a higher version of yourself when a big change is upon you, when the stakes are raised, right? In every movie, the hero usually starts out as a regular nobody, right? Harry Potter is an orphan stuck in a little closet, becomes his most powerful wizard, but he doesn't know it. And in order for him to become that, the stakes have to be risen. He has to solve this mystery and overcome these things. And I've only seen like one or two of them, so I don't know the whole thing, but you guys get the premise of it. Like he has to conquer this thing to then become the master wizard. But in the process of it, it's like, well, I'm a wizard. I don't know. I don't have all these powers. But the stakes have to be higher. In a very dark setting, when people like in movies, let's just say movie, very fictional, when somebody kidnaps somebody, is like, we have your so and so for ransom. Like, if you may not have that money, you're less likely to just hand over that money. But when the stakes are higher, like, oh, it's a life or death situation, then all of a sudden the money happens. The money comes up. You quickly summon the money. You move the money. You get the money from somewhere because you don't want to, like, you want to keep your life. You want to keep your loved one safe in this fictional tale. So evolution will take place when the revolution is in your face. So when the stakes are higher, you will evolve. You will change. Because why change if nothing is going to change? If everything's going to stay the same, why should I evolve to be different? Like, maybe you just have a desire to change, but if not, look at most people, most humans, they same thing day in and day out, just punching the clock, just doing the thing, opening and closing blinds. Every day it's just it's the same thing. But if you are looking to evolve, you have to raise your own stakes. Meaning, if you are looking to become a new person, maybe you need to raise your own stakes of, like, how much money I want to bring in. Maybe you need to raise your own stakes of how the type of food you want to be eating. Maybe you raise your own stakes. Like, I'm not allowing myself this much TV time, this much of this type of food. You start to just raise your stakes of how much things you have to do, right? Like, you know what? If I want to become a runner, I'm looking to evolve into running a marathon. I need to raise the stakes. I can't. Running one day a week is not enough. I need to run every day and for a longer period of time, so more miles. Maybe even just running faster, right? So, like, if you're looking to evolve, you have to raise your own stakes. Part of that also comes from believing, like, whatever you believe becomes your reality. Whatever you believe becomes your reality. Right now, we all have a number that we feel is a lot of money and a little bit of money. Right? So I think I'm safe to say we think that $1 million is a lot of money. And it's like, okay, yeah, $1 million is a lot of money. Because you may or may not have came across this money yet. But millionaires do not think $1 million is a lot of money. They're like, yeah. And I follow a lot of coaches that's made millions of dollars in a day. So they're like, yeah. I mean, like, man, what have I, and their quote was like, what have I been doing with the rest of my days? If I made $1 million in one day, like, all these other days, what have I been doing? So $1 million doesn't become a lot of money because, like, what they believe becomes a reality. So if they believe that, like, I can do this, then it's like, oh yeah, it's not a lot of money. So in the space of money and booking clients, it's like, if you believe that as a body worker, making 6 figures is like, man, I don't know if I can do that. And it's not going to happen. But if, as a body worker, if you believe you can making like making $1 million is possible, then it's going to happen. Now, it may not be strictly from body work, or maybe just from a body working business, right? So it's still from body work, but you may now start to think, okay, I got to make $1 million a year doing this. How can that happen? And you start thinking from that space, not a space of like, oh, yo, massage is $100 per massage. Then how can I, like, okay, I can only probably make maybe $800 a day if I do 8 sessions. And then you start to calculate that way, which is still good, right? You're making almost $1,000 a day, still solid. Doesn't get you to $1 million. But if you start to make $1 million, it's okay, how many things do I need to sell? How many shops do I need to have open? How many employees do I need to have where that number could say $1 million by the end of the year? So you start thinking differently. So whatever you believe becomes your reality. If you believe that $20,000 is enough, you're not going to evolve to making $100,000. But if you start to raise the stakes of like, okay, you know what, I need to make $20,000 a month, If you set that, then you will evolve through that and past that. If you don't set that, you won't be able to evolve through that. You have to raise your stakes so you can evolve to become the bigger and better person. And that is the last little gem that I want to share with you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching this on the playback. I appreciate you, getting this far and watching and listening. And yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of the videos that I've been making, and continue to stay tuned in and subscribe and just keep watching. Enjoy the journey. I appreciate you. I love you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.